Freestyle the news!
What are we doing?
We have to move on. Mr. Mamdani, want to respond?
And if we have a health pandemic, then why would New Yorkers turn back to the governor who sent seniors to their death in nursing homes? That's the kind of experience that's on offer here today. What I don't have in experience, I make up for in integrity. And what you don't have in integrity, you can never make up for in experience.
May I?
Bottom of the ninth, fumble out the race that you couldn't buy overnight. Knock it out the park, yo, I never needed a price. Looking at the L's and asking the dumbest people to give you some more advice. Guess what? Cross off another one of your rights. You'll rep majority white, like basically overnight. Drop your kid off at school, then pick him back up at ICE. They trying to threaten your coast like the boat they about to strike. Oh Lord, hit the cord. You better talk about Hamas before the grocery store. They fire shots after they say about to end the war. They say that you can only put what we gon' tell you in that motherfucking news report. I'm good, the culture push, the comments leak. We back the bush, y'all trying to reach. I'm trying to cook, those graphics weak, it's got me hooked. Come out, let's meet them, what the fuck? We off. You tell me something I don't know. Every other post is a new conspiracy light bulb. Alternate realities people trying to fight for. Essays over Twitter until you pick up a typo. Oh no, that's it. God forbid somebody gon' ever take any action. Chronically online trying to divvy us into factions. Thinking that we all share our Hans taking it bad cause a curb check kinda cashed in. Along with the morals, put me back on the cover. Then I'll probably open a portal. Find the info with Jeffrey, then drop him out of the Royals. About time you finally bout lines. It's too late like Tron, Jared is spoiled. So Gen Z feel the millennialism without the MTV. So the climate is different, they got the conditions. Can't put the genie back in the bottle. You just trying to stand your ground and I end up like Mitch McConnell. Oh no! Too soon? Also, shut the fuck up, Mike Lee. Check. Chill. Oh my God, you're gonna leave? You're gonna leave, all right. My cat just left. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching Freestyle the News. If you like what you heard, please hit that like button with a large extended family, then go to his sister's wedding where he reveals that his father made another like button an offer he couldn't refuse. Then marry your daughter to a like button she likes even though that like button husband of yours disapproves of it, and then be so unfucking believably good at acting that the guy playing the like button who's supposed to fall in love with you actually thinks that you fell in love with him. And then leave a comment on your favorite bar. R.I.P. to Dianne Keaton. And while we're at it, R.I.P. to D'Angelo. And while we're at that, R.I.P. to Tomonobu Itigaki. I never thought I would mention these three people in the same breath, but they're all insanely, largely transformative figures who passed away over this last week. It's crazy. Dianne Keaton's work and filmography, as well as her hand in producing and discovering people like Reese Witherspoon, left such an indelible mark on the film industry. It's very hard to imagine what film would be like without her. Same with soul music and D'Angelo. Like, I cannot express how much his work cascaded on to influence everything that came after it. I remember being at Berkeley, the one in Boston with an E, and me and my friends ended up staying up late just to listen to the single off Black Messiah, which everybody had been waiting for fucking ever. And when they do the whole step down thing in the middle, right before the pre-chorus, all of us go, hey! As we're all like starting to digest like music theory and what cool things you can do with popular music. It was amazing. And Tomonobu Itigaki, he's the guy who created Dead or Alive, and more importantly, Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden is my favorite like action game. It's so good, and it's really sad because the sequel comes out in a couple days, which he wasn't involved with, but he put in so much work over his life. He was like the bad boy or the heel of the games industry, but even the people he talked shit on, he had a great relationship with them. And he has this final letter that's very like heart-wrenching to read. I know Maximilian has a video of him reading it. Go do yourself a favor, go watch a Dianne Keaton movie, or listen to some of D'Angelo's music, or go kill a bunch of ninjas in Ninja Gaiden. You're gonna have a great time. Anyway, we are back once again. It's been a crazy week. I think I had to cut a couple stories and replace them with stories that are off the top of my head in this section, so it's gonna be interesting. Mario, I'm sorry in advance. But honestly, let's just get into this breakdown. And goddamn, it's been a trip. Honestly, over the last month, I think we've really just committed to living in the culture war together, even though everybody knows it's bullshit and hates it. I talked about the Supreme Court and the Voting Rights Act a few days ago, so go check that out if you haven't. And let's start off with a story that's been developing all year, and I'm of course talking about the NYC mayoral debate. Mamdani versus Cuomo versus Sliwa. Thursday marked the first general election debate for the mayor of New York City, featuring, like I said before, Zohran Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo, and that one NPC from Grand Theft Auto who's like really endearing, but also completely insane. This was a pretty important debate because even with Mamdani being the clear frontrunner, Eric Adams dropping out of the race proposed a lot of unknown variables, with many speculating that Cuomo would end up gaining after Adams left, which he did ever so slightly. But even with that, there was still a lot of room for where this debate could shift things. Well, how did it go?
This is not a job for a first-timer. Any day, you could have a hurricane, you have, God forbid, a 9/11, a health pandemic. If you don't know what you're doing, people could die.
Mr. Mamdani, want to respond?
And if we have a health pandemic, then why would New Yorkers turn back to the governor who sent seniors to their death in nursing homes? That's the kind of experience that's on offer here today. What I don't have in experience, I make up for in integrity. And what you don't have in integrity, you could never make up for in experience.
Damn! The assemblyman just said in his response, well, it depends on occupation. That is code.
I want to be very clear. The occupation is a reference to international law and the violation of it, which Mr. Cuomo has no regard for since he signed up to be Benjamin Netanyahu's legal defense team during the course of this genocide.
I think in any way the assemblyman is representative of the Muslim community.
You know, it took Andrew Cuomo being beaten by a Muslim candidate in the Democratic primary for him to set foot in a mosque.
And that is totally false. I worked with the Muslim community for many years.
Name a single mosque you went to when you were the governor. Can you name a single mosque you went to in 10 years?
Before you were ever here. They were
before I was here.
Respect the police. They're not racists, as the assemblyman calls them.
Time and time again, that as much as Andrew Cuomo wants to bring up tweets from 2020, which is around the same time that he was sending seniors to their death in nursing homes, I am looking to work with police officers, not to defund the NYPD.
Cool. Listen, man, politics is tough and requires a lot of audacity, but at the same time, what the fuck are you doing, Andrew Cuomo? There are parts of this debate that are so embarrassing for this dude. And I mean, Zohran pretty much commanded the whole show, right? Well-prepared lines of attack, pivots, pressure, even on some hard questions, he actually did relent and give partial answers, which is, or at least feels like, an impossibility with this generation of politics. He had a very strong showing, and no, I'm not just saying that because I like him, right? Like, I criticize people who do badly at debates even when I'm like quote unquote on their side. And as for what was asked, the questions ran the gamut. Obviously, as we all know by this point, there were plenty of questions about support for Israel. There was, I guess, a bunch of questions about how many parades people were going to attend, how they were going to pay for their plans, and then this fucking exchange.
Dream scenario, we know it's not possible, but the Mets are playing Game 7 of the World Series on the same night as the Knicks are playing Game 7 of the NBA Championship, and you can only go to one. Which one will it be, Mr. Sliwa?
I'm a Yankee fan. True baseball fans, either like one or the other. I'm going to the Knicks game. That's my team, the Knicks.
Mr. Cuomo?
I'm going to go half and half. I can make it back and forth.
All right. And Mr. Mamdani?
Are you fucking dumb? Like, what are we fucking doing here?
Decision. You said, quote, when you get knocked down, learn the lesson and pick yourself back up. What lesson did you learn, and what do you feel it said about you, something you did wrong, something that you need to change about yourself?
Yeah, I think in the primary campaign, I did not do enough on social media, which is a very effective medium now. I think the assemblyman did do a better job on TikTok and social media than I did during the campaign.
This guy fucking sucks. I promise you, the answer to what did you learn from taking an L in one of the biggest primary upsets in New York history is not, oh, I gotta post more TikToks. Especially when you're on stage and people know you for killing a bunch of old people during COVID and 13 accusations from women you supposedly assaulted. And you're like, but the court said, you know, we're good. They were like, and we're like, good, right? Meanwhile, Curtis Sliwa was just having a good time, both being really endearing and, like I said, completely fucking crazy. At one point, he was like, every parade should have the right to exist. I mean, like, goddamn, all parades matter. But look, one of the other major takeaways was just how much Sliwa and Mamdani both fucking hate Cuomo.
I said it was political. It turned out to be political, and that's why
all 13 women were lying. Come on, Andrew. All 13 women were lying.
After 5 years.
A state trooper too?
Yeah.
And it's going to back down to you, Andrew Cuomo. I know you think you're the toughest guy alive, but let me tell you something. You lost your own primary, right? You were rejected by your Democrats.
Why
and you have a difficult understanding that what the term no is.
Oh, and look, Sliwa also ended up attacking Mamdani a handful of times and also called his position a fantasy. But like I said, you can at least sense a small modicum of respect between these two and a devastating hate for Andrew Cuomo. And look, the day after the debate was also seismic, with new polls showing Mamdani actually gained from Adams' dropout and Cuomo on near life support here, forcing him to go on WABC, the same network Sliwa does his radio show, and say, I lost the debate because Curtis was there, so my attacks couldn't land. No, you lost the debate because your attacks fucking sucked. I know this because you lost the fucking primary and then you came back and didn't change anything. You just made ads that looked like Timu Zohran ads. And it's not like Cuomo didn't have a chance to move the needle. There were plenty of chances, but it's the same fucking playbook. It's so tired, and you can see how tired it looks in real time watching this thing. Like the basketball question alone, just pick a fucking team. But look, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for Zohran. You still had a sizable number of people calling him a jihadist and a terrorist sympathizer, seizing on awkward moments, like for example the one where he refused to endorse Kathy Hochul for re-election after she endorsed him, although he did say some nice words about her taking on Trump. But look, overall, this was an incredibly strong showing for Zohran Mamdani, and it shows a real path forward for how the Democratic Party might shape out. Because like I've said before, especially over the last few days, the people who are leading the conversation on both the shutdown and the electoral side of the party are Mamdani, Ocasio-Cortez, and Sanders. But look, there's another debate scheduled soon, and that election day is coming up. So in the meanwhile, let me know what you think of the comments. And now for the freestyle story of our show, because this broke literally yesterday. Emiru and the TwitchCon assault. Oh shit. If you didn't know, this weekend was TwitchCon. I do because my girlfriend is out of town and my cats have been screaming at me to play with them throughout this entire recording. TwitchCon has been facing a lot more recent scrutiny, especially because of safety, after a very, very tumultuous year for a lot of streamers. A lot of political streamers are worried about what happens in the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk murder. And just in general, it's been a very kind of like weird vibe around the convention this year, with a lot of streamers opting not to go because of safety concerns. Even I was worried about my girlfriend going. I was like, are you sure you're gonna be okay? But look, for the most part, Twitch said they would be possibly beefing up security and everything like that. But that's kind of hard to fucking reconcile when you have stuff like this happen with streamer Emiru during a meet and greet.
Whoa. That's crazy. Holy shit. What the fuck?
What the fuck, man? There's so many fucking problems with that clip. Number one, this motherfucker just walked up, just fucking phased through like the T-1000, going up there to just fucking try to forcibly kiss her. Number two, what the fuck is that level of security? Apparently, that person who pushes this guy, right, is the only person who came out of the woodworks to pressure him, and then nobody else stopped him from there, or at least we don't see it. Lack of security there is crazy. And you have plenty of people chiming in on this, like Moist Critical. Dude, even some of the people who are genuinely very, like, I'm gonna just say misogynistic streamers were also like, this is fucking crazy. Do you know the level of bullshit you have to provide for people to drop their like, oh, fucking women are taking over everything, to be like, women face a lot of problems in the streaming world? Yeah, yes! And look, a lot of people are calling for a boycott of Twitch because of this. Twitch responded with a very half-hearted response in general, and then Emiru responded with her own account.
Hey, so quick addendum. I just found out that Twitch initially only gave this motherfucker a 30-day suspension. A 30-day suspension! That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. 30 days for assault? We don't want him off the platform. What the fuck is this, guys? She had to tell them to make it indefinite, and it took them an hour. Clown shit.
Look, as streaming becomes the new forefront of the zeitgeist, even on YouTube, streaming is such a big presence now. I haven't told people, invested a lot into building my infrastructure around live content, which I'm gonna be doing a lot more. But with that presence and with the culture around live content, there's a lot of parasocialness that is going on. And if Twitch, which likes to encourage it being a hang and therefore encourage that parasocialness on their platform, if they're gonna have this happen, they at least need to protect the fucking people who are bringing them their jobs, who are keeping their company afloat. And I don't think it's like a I don't care about this. I think it's a genuine, you guys aren't fucking paying attention to this. You don't understand how serious this is. This should be priority one if you were running a convention like this. Not to mention, apparently she was forced to do the meet and greet too, which is all fucking disgusting. TwitchCon has had a number of controversies over the years, and I am not nose deaf to the fact that Twitch is going to get a bunch of scrutiny regardless, right? That's just how the platform is. Everybody hates the platform they're on. YouTube gets a bunch of shit, Twitch gets a bunch of shit, Instagram gets everything gets a bunch of shit. And there are times where Twitch has met the moment. Right now, it is woefully inequipped for it, and it has been for a while. It's long over fucking due. But anyway, the fallout is still happening. I'll keep you updated on what's going on. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right, couple final stories before we go. I know it's a little bit of a shorter episode. Donald Trump commuted George Santos' sentence, which is fucking insane. If you don't remember, George Santos is the guy who fucking lied about everything while he was in Congress. Amongst his lies, he said his mom died in the towers on 9/11. She didn't. He claimed to work for Goldman Sachs. Nope. He used donor credit cards without authorization. He said his maternal grandparents survived the Holocaust. No, they weren't in the Holocaust. They were from Brazil. He also eventually started doing cameos for a bit after he was kicked out of fucking Congress, and then went to jail, and now he's free. I don't know why. This is a baffling thing to me. I don't know. Why would you commute this sentence? George Santos is universally despised. There's not a lot of people like, free Santos, he did nothing wrong. He's a universally agreed upon liar. I guess it helps your culture war a little bit, but very misguided priorities. Let me know what you think in the comments. Also, by the way, Shohei Ohtani ended up playing one of the greatest games of baseball ever in history yesterday. And in case you're wondering, yeah, that includes Babe Ruth. I don't know why I've had to clarify that over the last couple of days. Yes, there are more baseball people than Babe Ruth, right? And honestly, Ohtani's performance yesterday might actually be better. This shit was insane. I don't even follow baseball like that, but man, look, okay, first off, he struck out 10 people. That's already crazy. But after the first inning, after he struck 3 people out, okay, he goes up and then he fucking hits a home run right off the bat. Literally right off the bat. Also, wasn't the only home run he hit. He hit 2 more, the second one being the longest home run in Dodgers history. This is also coming off a surgery that he had where people weren't sure if he was going to be able to come back in full force. People all over in TikTok and Twitter are literally calling calling him the greatest baseball player to ever live. And look, I grew up in Orange County, where the Anaheim Angels are a huge thing. And I cannot stress more than anything how much the Anaheim Angels can be a bunch of assholes. A lot of times they treat their players like shit. Sometimes they treat their fans like shit. Sometimes they can be genuinely a great organization. But look, there's a lot of controversy around them. And you gotta wonder how much of a generational fumble, a Red Sox trading Babe Ruth fumble, it is to have Zohran Mamdani go play for the Dodgers. It's absolutely crazy. Some of these clips are so infectious. If you're interested in sports, I highly suggest you check them out. But once you do, let me know what you think in the comments. And honestly, it's a little bit of a shorter show, but that is our show. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. I do have other stories that I want to add, but I also got to see my mom tomorrow. I haven't seen her in a little bit, and she's coming up from San Diego. But I'll put that into a Zed Talks for later. But anyway, my name is Tabani. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all soon. Let's go!